Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to take a review of stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the blueprint. The major story here, shift from presidential system. Obasanjo backs reps group advocates Afro-democracy. Says Western liberal democracy has failed its originators. Group gets 500 essays from Nigerian students. Holds national discourse July the 1st. Another story here, a sad one. Terrorists sack 50 communities, abduct hundreds in Zamfara, kill 3, kidnap pastor, wife, others in Niger community. And Tinubu Shatima, others, VIPs to pay airport access fees. That's what the Aviation Minister Festus Keyamo is saying. And to the New Telegraph now, another academic disruption looms as ASUU gives federal government 2 weeks to reconstitute councils, meet other demands. And the writer there says Nigeria's education budget lowest in West Africa. And study here at the downstream, FDA may ban formaldehyde in hair straighteners. World Bank private sector injects $133 million into Nigeria's infrastructure. Those are some of the stories you find on the front page of the New Telegraph. We move to the front page of the Nation newspaper. And the major story here says, Minister, electricity tariff hike reversal will derail reform plan. Federal government seeks labor's understanding. 85% of consumers still enjoying subsidy. That's what the minister is saying. Another story here quickly. CNG sale points to be made compulsory at petrol stations. Those are some of the story, all right, you find on the front page of the Nation newspaper. To this Nigeria newspaper now, still talking about electricity tariff. 95% of protesters not affected by hike, says Adelabu Power Minister. Cautions Labour not to derail power sector reforms. And at the top corner there, Nigerian visa to go digital ready in 48 hours. Federal government formally places cybersecurity levy in the cooler, reviews policy. Tinubu, Shatima, other VIPs now to pay toll at airport. And those are some of the stories you find on the front page of this Nigerian newspaper. To the platform Times now, investigation, that's the third part of it. How OOU weathered the storm 42 years after. That should make an interesting read. Soldiers kill Boko Haram founder, recover Starlink, Wi-Fi router, others in Sambisa forest. One major story there that you might be interested in reading. We move quickly now to the Daily Times. Uproar over fresh quit notice to Fulanese from Hausaland. Patient in Kaduna, patient referred due to lack of power, fuel in General Hospital dies. Sad one there. Rivers highly burdened by huge debts from weakest government, says Fubara. Those are some of the stories you find on the front page of the Daily Times. To the Daily Trust now. Terrorists abduct over 80 in Katsina. Women among victims. Military confirms Sunday's soldiers killing in same area. Another downstream, ASUU gives Tinubu 2 weeks to constitute university's governing council. And Niger speaker halts wedding plans for 100 orphans. All right, those are some of the stories you find on the front page of the Daily Trust. To the Daily Independent now, federal government to deploy 20 trillion naira pension funds to drive economic growth. And the writers there say to invest in housing, power, rails, roads, technology. OK's 96.297 billion naira for generators for State House street lights, bus terminals, approves private partnership to transform infrastructure housing sector. Some stories you find on the front page of the Daily Independent. To the Nigeria News Direct, digital economy, federal government unveils SPV to improve internet penetration, GDP growth, to build third longest terrestrial fiber optic backbone in Africa. targets 1.5% GDP growth, 70% broadband penetration. All right, we'll move swiftly now to the leadership newspaper. Airport access fees, no more VIPs. Everybody must pay, federal government declares. Cites losses to preferential treatment. Targets 10 billion revenue. Tinubu, Shetima, Akpabio, Abbas, others not exempted. Deploy technology for monitoring. That's what stakeholders are saying with regards to that story. Theophilus.
All right, from my end, the Punch newspaper says EFCC rates speculators as Naira drops to 1,540 to a dollar. Illegal BDC operators, speculators raided in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Kano. Minimum wage, rather. Labour insists on May 31st deadline. JAM releases more UTME results. Policy blitz. Tinubu unveils 21 major initiatives after marathon FEC meeting. FT lists BHM amongst Africa's fastest growing companies. And that's in the Punch newspaper this morning. Going to the Vanguard. It says here, minimum wage, federal government calls committee meeting. Labour insists on May 31st deadline. Edo Guba, no collection of PVCs by proxy. INEC tells Edo Ondo electorates. Obaseki APC Baker over propaganda against Oba's Palace. Fubara laments debts owed contractors by Wiki's administration. ASUU threatens nationwide strike over absence of varsity governing councils. Others. Tinubu Shetima now to pay toll gate fees at airports, according to the federal government. Some foreign missions charge in dollars determine own forex rates as EFCC. This, of course, you see in the Vanguard newspaper this morning. The Salient Times says here, 5.9 million Nigerian children face severe food nutrition crisis, according to the UN. Tinubu Shetima to pay for access into airports as federal government makes payment of e-tax compulsory. ASUU threatens nationwide strike. Of course, Tinubu officially suspends 0.5% cybersecurity levy. Niger Speaker halts plans to marry off 100 orphans, accuses Minister of Interference. ISWAP founder's son surrenders in Borno State. That's in the Salient Times newspaper this morning. Looking at Nature News. NITSDA, Cisco signed MOU to irrigate 500,000 hectares farmland. Namibia secures $138 million loan to boost renewable energy. World Bank advocates $260 billion yearly investment to curb global agri-food emissions. Federal government targets year-round croppings in wet and dry season, says Kerry. Over 500 illegal structure shanties marked for demolition in FCT. Of course, Oyo government arrests 32 illegal miners, including 2 Chinese. That's in the Nature News newspaper this morning. We go to Business Day. Cardoso sticks to orthodox policy despite Naira pressure. Naira weakens to 1,478 Naira to a dollar on the official markets. Let's go to Sporting Life. Aruna captures ITF Africa Cup. Says, I'll never give up. I never gave up. World Cup qualifiers, big headache for Finidi. Victor Osimhen injured. Frank leading candidate to take over at Manchester United if Erik ten Hag is sacked. NFF don't trust Finidi, says Olufinjana. Finidi to earn 15 million naira monthly becomes highest paid indigenous coach. Liverpool to trigger £85 million release clause for Kudus. Bayern Inter interested in Fernandes. This and many more in the Sporting Life newspaper this morning.
All right. I believe that our viewers have been updated. So many stories there up for review. And the matter of electricity tariff, I can recall that organized labor had protested, picketing the offices of the Electricity Regulatory Commission across the country. And now the Minister for Power has come out to say you need to understand with us that these are reforms that we are trying to bring into that sector. And you asking us to reverse that price back to what it used to be would derail us, that it is just 15% of Nigerians that are paying Band A, but everyone is feeling the pinch. Actually, it's not just those in Band A, B, C, or D. Everyone is feeling the pinch.
Band A is not becoming status quo.
But then again, what is really, that's where strategic communication comes in.
Yes.
Where you're not really explaining to people why they have to pay so much. I was listening to someone talk about calculating the monies that Nigerians have to pay. It is more than the minimum wage that people are earning. So if it's more than that, how are they supposed to pay for it? But then we'll have to leave the conversation here. And quickly move on to talk about the FRSC clamping down on articulated vehicles across